Done filming for several hours, and we're going to do it again because we're at the point where it's like, well, might as well show you guys what's going on here. So, thank you. Live and unscripted as always. All right. Getting my Coke habit here. So this morning we finished up our barrier for Gaslands. We've got the gates that we're going to prime. That's these pieces right here. And we're going to prime them black. But before we do anything else, yesterday when we were on here, we stripped one of these cars with the citrus strip stuff. And we just took it outside and rinsed it. And we're going to give this thing the treatment of giving an aluminum brush and get it to this kind of a finish. So this is a car that we're going to start with this aluminum type finish. These two are going to be repainted. These two Mini Cooper van. I guess this is a Morris Mini, not a Mini Cooper, but anyways. This is just the regular sedan, and this is the van version. These will actually get painted. These are for my British-inspired team. But we have a Japanese one that we got the first vehicle for. So this is going to be... we'll see how this turns out. But I figured I had not planned on painting it this way. But I saw this natural metal finish, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is like, you know, like I got to do something with this. You know, so we're going to make this Japanese vehicle in natural metal finish. And with some green camouflage on it, because it's going to be the Hayabusa. Inspired by paint schemes that Japanese airplanes had in the Second World War. Or some Japanese airplanes had in the Second World War. So we put the citrus strip on here, and we have some paint residue on here. We already rinsed it. We're going to get this extra moisture out, and then we're going to take the brush to this. And you can see this leaves almost like a rough type finish. Actually, here it's really noticeable that it's kind of rough. I thought it was just my imagination, but no, it's actually pretty rough looking. And this is the color originally was. It was this red. And you can do this because this is die cast. If this was plastic or something like that, it wouldn't work so well. So we got our Dremel here. And with a pedal. So honestly, these Dremels are really, really powerful considering the stuff that we're doing, which is... doesn't really need this kind of strength, but we should be able to adjust this. This is what it looks like starting off, and we're going to give it a go. And unfortunately, this thing's pretty darn heavy, but... I'm trying to be careful with it. I really don't want this to have a non-smooth finish on here. You can see just with a little bit of this, we've got this all shiny. So I've never done one of these before. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to get this down to where it's metallic completely. And then clear coat it. And then on top of that clear coat, we'll actually do the camouflage. So, in green. And I may hate how it looks, but in which case, you can just rinse and repeat. Put on a mask, even though it's blowing it all that way. Still. I mean, it's really pretty. It's really, really pretty. This is a make-believe car. I believe the package called it a Hako D. I think it's some design thing that was inspired by RX-7s and looks a bit like a Nissan Pulsar. You can't tell it from this position, but when it has everything on it, it reminds me of one of those from the late 80s. And as far as the inside, just need to do kind of a minimum of what's going to be shown. This is probably a bad video to watch if you had bad experiences at the dentist. I don't. I usually fall asleep at the dentist. I think most people that don't like going to the dentist are people that hadn't gone to the dentist very often. Let's move this big old chunk of goo. We just have this sitting overnight. And this is actually a vehicle that cost $1.18. I figured for sure when I saw somebody do this, I'm like, man, I'm going to ding up the whole finish. I'm like, well, this aluminum on this is a lot softer than the metal on here. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab the interior inside. We'll see how it fits on here, how it looks. Of course, the interior, I just spray painted it black. It's probably going to stay black. I'll be right back. All right. Now, I've got all the parts of the 3 cars that I'm working on right now in here. Let's hope we grab the right one. I believe it's this one. It's this one, and it's the one that has a little nitrous little packages. This is the detail that it has on the inside of the driving compartment. It's actually pretty nice. You know, you get a lot of value here for something that's relatively inexpensive. And then the interior of this is going to go something like this. I guess there's see if we can get the glass. This is the glass for the right one, is it not? Oh, it's here. Okay. Okay, yeah, this portion down here is glass. So even if we don't use the glass on the front, then we'll have to use part of it on the inside. Well, let's see what this looks like. Obviously, we're not going to have gold rims. It doesn't really go with the paint scheme of the car. So we're going to, yeah, we're gonna paint this. We'll seal this up. We'll finish buffing all this out. I just want to make sure there's no red showing, and there is some on this column here. So we'll have to eliminate that. Now I do have another aluminum drill bit, and it's this weird ass shape. I don't know if that's going to be easier to get into some of those spots. Maybe we'll switch that out and give it a shot. These are bits that I didn't think I was ever going to use. I'm not even sure how I got them. And it's kind of nice, I discovered yesterday that, you know, for all this stuff, high speed, you don't need high speed for this. You know, you're just, and the high speed stuff is the stuff that I consider like really dangerous. Like, I don't want to go start drilling these things at high speed. I might lose a finger. So I'm a lot more comfortable. Oh yeah, this is great. This is all misshapen now. What a beautiful finish. I'm a big fan of silver cars. My current car is silver. My first car was silver. But this isn't silver. This is natural finish, as they would call it on a plane. That looks pretty damn good. That looks pretty damn good. And if I still can't get this stuff out that's visible, then we can just paint it silver and you won't be able to tell what it is. Because you're looking at it through the inside, through the glass. Which, I don't know where the hell I put it right now. Oh, here's this. And there, okay. Let's see what we're looking like now. Again, I actually don't mind the color of the rims. They just don't work with the whole silver car. So this is the red car stripped down. Really a beautiful finish. And we're going to do a spiderweb style Japanese World War II inspired camouflage on this thing. Okay, so this is going to be a performance car for the Japanese team. All right, and you know, it looks similar to this. Okay. I really don't know how that metal is going to be in like 5 years, whether it's going to tarnish. So that's why I want to give it a clear coat to make sure we don't have that coming up. Okay. Again, this isn't a showroom car. This isn't a showroom car. They're going to go out and battle each other with machine guns and things like that. So it doesn't have to look perfect. All right. Now, we left the airbrush. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the Dremel. We're going to lose the mask. I left the airbrush in a I didn't clean you completely perfect phase. So I may have an issue. Make sure the battery, we're doing okay on it. Okay, yep, we're gaining battery strength as we go. Make sure this goes okay. All we're going to do is we're going to run black primer through here, and we're going to prime these gates from, what is the name of that company? It's written on there, but I bought it from a place called the Phalanx. I don't remember what it is. Phalanx Consortium. What do I want to call it? Phalanx Consortium. Although I don't think that's right. The Phalanx something or another. I'm going to use a one-shot primer. I could probably use black paint with this. I could certainly hand paint this, and I'd be here all week. You know, I'm probably going to actually airbrush the colors on it, or I'll be here all week. I don't know if I can do that in this session, but let's close this up. This will give us a place to lay these things down as we paint them. All right. And what we're looking at is we're looking at these gates that are multiple pieces. This is 2 stands, and in between them you get this gate assembly. That is the gates you're supposed to race through in the game. And they're supposed to fit in here. And they're removable. They fit better one way than the other. Jeez. What's going on here? What's the meaning of this? Do they fit okay on this side? There, just gonna put them in, and then, yeah, and that way it's collapsible, and it doesn't take up a ton of space when you move them. But this is what the gate consists of, and this is the natural finish it comes with. It's laser cut MDF. We're going to improve that and paint these guys black. All right. Now let's get some of this one-shot primer. We're going to put a little bit of the Boss Magic Mix, probably 25% of it, and the rest primer. And the Magic Mix helps preventing tip dry. And it works really good at that. All right, let's use the back of a card. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this in two stages. I'm going to do this top, so I can grab it by the bottom, set them off to the side, and as they dry, we'll do the opposite. Okay, here's one. Now how are we going to do these? I think probably one end and maybe turn around and do the other end. What is the name of that place? There are friends of Gaslands. Death Racing Apocalyptic Accessories. Death Racing. I don't know if they're still around. I got this probably 7 years ago. I don't even remember how much I paid for this. You could probably make your own gates. Okay, and we're out. All right, so we're going to put more of this fluid here. Let's put a little bit more in it. Mix it together. We got like a glob. Where the hell did we get a glob from? Yeah, let's not put that glob back in. Always an adventure in airbrushing. Now, you could use spray cans too, but I don't like being ID'd. Okay, half of that one's done. Go to the next one. What PSI are we running at, by the way? Oh, we're running really low. We can crank that up a little bit. We could run it up to 30. You know, I could use black paint as well. I could use craft paint. I'd just rather not spend a lot of time on a jam. clearing a jam, so to speak. I think you'll notice that the compressor's a little bit more quiet, and that's because it's on the ground here instead of being up on the table. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the first one, because I would like to do it one gate at a time. Let's do the bottom of the first one. This stuff dries pretty quick to begin with, and this MDF material is naturally going to soak up the color of the paint anyways. Which, that's fine. This is just kind of a base color. If this came molded in black, it'd be even better. I prime everything in black all the time for always. You can blame that on a heavy metal painting guy or something like that from the early 90s. They sold me completely on painting everything black, on priming everything black. I don't care what color I'm doing. If I'm priming, it's going to be black. Some people use different colors. Depending on if they use skin, they'll use a brown or something like that. I'm like, nope, I'm black all the time, always. There we go. And, you know, I don't care how other people do it. They can do it their own end. They can prime it white all they want, you know. I just like the fact that if there's some shadow that doesn't get painted, I'm gonna want it black. So there's no point fighting gravity. That's just the way I roll. Just like some people might paint this stuff with Vallejo paints or expensive paints. Terrain, I use the cheapo paint. It's peace of mind. Yeah. That looks pretty good. You know, and they're actually usable the way they are, but they could be better. As a matter of fact, we've always used them unpainted. It's just time to move on to making things look a little bit better. Oh, do we have a jam? Do we have a jam? We're getting there. I have a feeling it might have something to do with that glob. Always an adventure. There we go. Yeah, I hadn't counted on that glob. But it is the bottom of this primer bottle. I've never used this primer before getting this one. And maybe it just has some primer that's been settling there for a while. That's not going to stop us, though. Okay. Now the second half of this. I'll do the inside just in case any of it shows. Although this is a great color, especially since it's burnt. So if something doesn't get painted, it won't be that noticeable because it kind of looks rusty to begin with. I'm probably going to end up having a. Maybe we can get through this paint. We'll take this thing apart and clean it well before we add some more to it. Anyways, happy Saturday, folks. Having a really productive one myself. The Hoffman, you still going on? I take a break. I had to take a little bit of a break And we polished up the red car, which now looks like this, the Hayabusa. And I'm going to put a green camouflage scheme on it. And hopefully it looks all right. It's going to look, with the name of it and the look of it, people are going to be like, I see. If you know anything about Japanese planes, Second World War planes. And we might even put some markings on it reminiscent of maybe a Japanese squadron. Well, that's going to be the performance car for the Japanese team or the Asian team. Really, the Japanese team. It's not like you're going out. It's not like I'm going to go out and buy some Chinese branded cars that are die-cast. I don't think they make any Chinese cars die-cast. Are you allowed to have a car in China? Even if they were, nobody would recognize what the hell they were, Although the thing about having a Chinese team, a specifically Chinese team, is I would have a lot of fun coming up with names for the drivers. However, there aren't any Chinese cars. Chin too fat and stuff like that, But I personally am fond of Japanese vehicles in real life. I can't imagine driving a car that's not a Japanese car. Or a Japanese-inspired car. Meaning, please put the steering column on the left side. I'm even fine if it was in kilometers. It doesn't need to be in miles per hour. It can be in kilometers per hour, but I don't want to drive on the right-hand side of the car. That would be kind of cool. They go down and tear and build a whole Japanese team, and they're all painted like Japanese aircraft. That's a thought. That's worth considering. That's worth considering. And no, none of them are going to be kamikaze and crashing into people. Unless it's like a bus or something like that, Something you can't maneuver, Team Kamikaze. I looked up the other day, I was talking about kamikazes. I really don't know. I don't know much about that. I'm still kind of new to the Pacific. But I was surprised the other day when I found out that the kamikazes actually killed more people than the kamikazes died in. I know, I worded that horrendously bad. I'm not a writer. But of all the people that died as kamikazes, they actually killed more. They actually killed like 6 times more people. I'm actually surprised that that's the case, but then you think about it, and it's like, okay, you got one guy in a Zero that wants to crash into a ship, all right? Maybe 1 in 20 makes it, but when one makes it, all they have to do is take out 20 guys and they break even. So if the plane comes in and takes out 300 guys, you're ahead in the game, so to speak. So I was surprised about that until I thought about it, and then it's like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. Kamikaze sub. If you ask somebody like me about going in a submarine, I'd say any mission in a submarine is a kamikaze mission. You couldn't get me in a submarine. And I'm not talking about any recent accidents. I'm just saying, going 50 meters under the water. I'm not talking about going down to the Titanic. I'm talking about, that's just creepy. And I'm not scared of water, but I need to be above it. There we go. Well, we'll see how this does, because that would be pretty unique to have a Japanese team that's all painted like Japanese planes from the Second World War. Minus the zeros. They don't need to have, the big meatball on them. Some of them would have a rising sun type thing on it. But, we'll be wondering how it turns out. Certainly there's lots of Japanese cars I would love to have. Like a Skyline and a 240, or, some kind of Z. It doesn't have to be the 240. It could be a 180, whatever. NSX is probably my least interesting one because NSX doesn't look that Japanese to me. It's such a over-the-top car that you don't see on a regular basis. I had some guy the other day on the way to work. He had one of those new Corolla. Me and my kids play Gaslands. Excellent. How old are your kids? I think it's a great game for kids. It's a great game. Did they do okay managing the dice? I mean, the dice mechanic is brilliant. That's what the game's all about. How you manage that. And by team, I mean, 4 cars. That kind of stuff, I mean, I don't want to necessarily make a Miyazaki. I mean, I want to make my own spin on stuff. That's the one thing that I'm not a big fan of Gaslands, is the fluff that the author did. I think that he did a lot of things, other things I like, but, well, it's like somebody said, it's your game. You can play it however you want. Start changing too many things, we'll change the name of what we're playing, not to confuse people. It's like, I didn't know you played Gaslands like that. I don't want to confuse people, Okay. It's nice to use these things that I've had for, I said almost a decade, a long time, and never did anything with them, Oh, we finally went through this big old thing of this. All right, so we're going to give this thing a good cleaning. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a paper towel. We're going to scoop as much of this stuff out as you can. This gets all webby. Almost like, what's that guy that Venom, that symbiotic shit that Venom did? It's almost kind of like that. Except this doesn't come alive and attack you. All right, let's put some of this homemade cleaner. And use the Iwata scrubby brush. Yeah, even my airbrush is Japanese. My airbrush identifies as Japanese. I love Japanese shit. Big fan. Man, I gotta play Japanese team. I gotta have some Japanese beer, man. There's an incentive to build a Japanese team. I love Japanese beer. Not that I drink that much, but the idea of it. Yeah, you see, there's some goopage there. So we're gonna pull this thing apart. It's not a big deal. It's a good exercise in it. The jam is probably in the, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch. I'm gonna switch needles. I'm gonna go to a bigger needle. So this is less likely to happen. No, I forgot I had this. The quick disconnect. This is what I should be doing. That's why I got it. Where is it? Here. Okay. So the line and the tank is still under pressure, the pressure that I left it at. I can just remove this. Jeez, I did a number on this thing. Yeah, we'll do this one like a Japanese plane. It might turn out awesome. It might be a bad idea. I don't know. It's at least unique. I don't know, somebody out there had to have already done it. All right, let's get this symbiotic shit out. Japanese beer tastes better overseas than it does here in the States. I believe it. There's this place in downtown Disney. I think that's what it's called now. No, they call it something different now. What do they call it? Disney Springs. And the Disney Shopping Center here in Magic Kingdom. And they have this stand that sells sushi to go and different things like that. And walk-up place. And they have beer there. They have Japanese beer there. And they have a thing. They have frozen beer. So basically what it is a really cold beer, and the foam is frozen. And it's pretty awesome. There's no ice in the beer, but it's like frozen foam to keep it cool. And it was pretty awesome. Of course, I haven't had that in about 3 years. We don't go there very often. My daughter's older. She's in college. We don't go to the theme parks that often. Certainly not in the summertime when everybody's there. Let's go ahead and give this a hand sanitizer clean. Takes all this stuff right off. Hoffman, if I end up going to a little quickie, I want to say it's a Pan-Asian, but no, it's probably a Japanese place. Next door to the convention, I probably will. I'll take a photo of the place and show you. I know I've talked about it several times. I don't know what the hell the name of the place is called. It's really long-winded name. But it's a really clean establishment, very modern. You order with a big iPad on the wall. I like it. It definitely feels like you're somewhere else, which is one of the experiences that I like when you go eat. You go eat ethnic food of whatever ethnicity, and the place where you order it from makes you feel like you're in that other land, wherever it is the food's from. It's kind of cool. I appreciate stuff like that. And they have Japanese beer there. And it's not as good as it is overseas, but I've never had it overseas, so there's that. Well, drinks and Cokes and stuff taste different in other places too. However, the Cokes in Spain, I don't know what the hell they did in Spain, but in Spain, the Coke Zero tastes exactly the fucking same. I was floored. Because usually if you have like another drink in like Mexico or even Puerto Rico, they have their own bottling plant in Puerto Rico that bottles it there. Why transport all of the liquid inside of the bottle and everything when you can just transport the syrup and make your own stuff there and just source the other things out? And that's what they do in Puerto Rico, and it tastes different. It tastes different in Mexico. It tastes different in every single one of those places. I can speak about soda because I'm a bit of a soda connoisseur. One of my bad habits. Hey, it's better than being an alcoholic. I'm basically don't even drink alcohol, so kind of hard to be an alcoholic that way. But the soda's that way, but the soda in Spain was exactly the same. I mean, the Coke Zero tastes exactly the same. It's crazy. Floored me. Okay, I'm going to clean this needle, even though we're not going to use this needle. We're going to go to the bigger needle, which allows for more paint to flow around it, which means paint that's thicker tends to not jam as much. In a nutshell. That's this needle right here. Let's make sure she's clean. And we'll put her in backwards. That way we minimize the chance of the tip being bent, which is not that big of a deal for this, since we're doing nothing other than, I close this up a little bit because this is the part that loves to fall off and roll away into a recess. All right. And we're going to use the larger nozzle, which we will make sure that it is clean as well. I've gotten a lot better at airbrushing, but it's, you know, trial and error. Okay, this doesn't work, this worked. You know, everything has little hang-ups. I tried taking these Matchbox, these Hot Wheel cars apart yesterday. I ran into all kinds of issues. And, you know, by the time I took the last one, like, I figured out what I was doing wrong. Now, next time I do it, hopefully I can replicate it and not have the same issue over and over again. This should be all right now. And aha! It's because I have a glove on. But I saw where it went. Ha-ha! And one of the biggest mistake you can make with an airbrush, with like this one, is like you can tighten it by hand, but it's not tight enough. Because if there's any kind of an air leak, it won't function. The suction and stuff won't function properly. All right. Now we will test it, make sure we're good to go. And see, because I have this cut off, I didn't have to wait for the air to build up or anything. This little $9 thing is amazing. And it's adjustable down here too. You can adjust. I don't do that much, but it is adjustable. Okay, let's run some cleaner through here and make sure we're ready to rock and roll. This is just homemade stuff with distilled water, Glass Plus, rubbing alcohol, and a little bit of Flow-Aid. I didn't come up with a formula for that. What are we running, about 30? You can probably dial this down to about 25. All right. Excellent. What time is it? Go nice. 107. Let's see what we got here. Well, I thought I had a beer in here. Dude, I'm non-alcoholic beer. They can get that for me. Okay, we're good. All right. Maybe I'll pick up some Kirin or something like that while I'm out. All right. Or maybe not. Okay. Magic mix. Put in about that much. And then I'm a little concerned about this being gloopy. Great. We're getting to the end of it, so I have another one of these that came in. I mean, shit, I could use the Vallejo one that I'm not a fan of, but I have it here. Let's use the Vallejo. Let's use the Vallejo. We just want to paint this stuff black. We can use we save the one shot for, like, you know, when we actually want something quality, like a plane or something like that. All right. Guy recommended 70% of this to 30% of his mix. All right, and let's mix it up. Get a little card here for a test blast. Okay. And we're off. I don't know how long that took. 10 minutes, maybe? Air compressor is definitely quieter for you guys. Gotta be. And the next one I get, I'll definitely get one that's quiet. That's specifically one of the incentives for it, is that it's quiet. Because usually the compressor I just got one that's cheap and has a tank. Because I don't want to hear it either. Now, this formula that this guy created is pretty amazing. I told him about it. I said, you know, it even works on craft paint. He was floored. Like, you made a good formula. It's better than you thought it was. Cool. Primer is really hard on an airbrush, just because of how thick it is. Well, hard in that it jams it, but next. It's already acting like it's jamming a little bit. Now, there's some paint schemes on Japanese planes that are just ugly. You know, almost look like, you know, they're like too chipped. So, you know, we're not going to just do anything. But I'm going to clear coat it. I'm going to clear coat it in a matte, because when we're done with the camouflage, we are going to give it a wash, and we want to wash this a little bit. So the matte will provide that little bit of a uneven surface, so that the wash will be able to do its thing. Yeah, I'm having to pull this thing way back. That's still real wet. We'll come back to that one. Oh, we're done. Okay. Well, we're done with this. So what we're going to do for good measure is we're going to go ahead and wipe this out with a towel. Do a rinse with the cleaner. Blow some through with the cleaner, and then rinse and repeat. We'll start it again and see that it's working okay. And that's usually enough to keep it going. And for some reason, the brush that this airbrush came with, because it came with this brush, is excellent. It keeps its shape. It's the bristles are hard, and I mean I've been pretty brutal with this thing, and it's like no other brush. I know it sounds stupid, but that's what it is. You know, we're gonna pour this out. If there's any gunk in here, there's no point running that through your airbrush. Put new stuff through. Well, I wonder if I should make these Japanese-inspired cars like really lightly armed, because Japanese planes are definitely lighter armed than anybody. Italian planes are pretty lightly armed as well. All right, nope. Let's get this out of the way. This is the clear coat, not the magic formula. Yay, I finally got a like. Woohoo! Somebody likes the bullshit I do. None of this is bullshit. It might not be interesting. It might be, playtime for adults, but come on, let's go. There we go. There we go. All right. So I'm going to try to do this with a brown. When I'm done with this, it'll probably be this afternoon. Not because it needs to dry, but because, well, we got to go out doing our weekly errands, which of course will involve, hey, are there any die-cast cars here? Let me go check them out. I'll be right back. That doesn't mean I'm going to buy any. I'm telling you, I went to Walmart the other day. I spent like 35 minutes there looking through all the die-cast cars. Had a blast. Didn't buy any. Had a blast. I organized their die-cast area because there was a couple empty hooks, so I sorted through them, and somebody's got to sort Walmart stuff up for them. It certainly isn't anybody working there. That place is a zoo. Maybe even talk to the wife to go to Target. They got see what their die-cast car collection looks like. Hey, it's an adventure. It's a cheap-ass adventure. Yeah, we got to jam early. This is... Should probably pick up some Vallejo black paint and just use that. Oh shit, I didn't take my pills this morning. Including an Allegra. We need some rain here. It's been so damn dusty. Come on, I can see you coming out. This has a lot of the magic thinner. It's probably half and half. Always an adventure airbrushing. Never know what's going to happen. There we go. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Come on, keep it going. See, this is only not an issue because I don't really have an agenda. I don't give a shit how long this takes. I mean, obviously I want it to go well. But I've airbrushed enough times. It's just sometimes things are... I mean, the margin of error between the space between the needle and the nozzle and everything is so minimal. And this paint is so thick that it doesn't take much for things to go sideways for you to have a little bit of a jam session. Let's move this one. But you can already tell that the one-shot primer works better than this. This is already jamming more after using a bigger needle than the other one is. So it's going a lot better than my early paint airbrushing sessions. Like, I'm not getting all this stuff all over me. Pop this bubble, see if there's any paint underneath there. There may not be much in there. Oh, there's enough in there, and it's watery enough, that's for sure. There we go. It's still a hell of a lot quicker than hand painting this. And painting the whole thing black, like, geez, I'll be here all week. All right, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Oops. Let's open this up. I tried to use the top on this the other day, and it just did not want to cooperate. It didn't want to close on me. So open this up a little bit. Still. I feel like I'm more than halfway done though. But it's funny. It'll actually work better with the smaller needle. Or it'll work better with the other primer, really. All right, let's take this thing apart. See if we can't lose a part. Okay. Top's in there. There's not much in there. That's pretty clean. Use the back of the needle for that. Another bunch of cars out there. They got a lot of people next door. Wife swapping or something. I hope not. In which case, I'm glad they didn't invite me. I'm good with the one I have. I mean, that was a show that was on TV or something like that. Wife swap or something like that. I don't watch reality shows, but man, it was a train wreck. I saw the commercial. This was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago. Maybe it might have been even 20 years ago. But they had an African-American couple that ended up wife swapping with a gamer family. I'm like, I gotta watch this. This is gonna be a shit show. You know, the problem with those reality shows is it's all made up stuff. You know, it's exaggerated. Well, why don't you act like you're crazy? Why don't you, a gamer family. And I mean, no, I don't mean like me. I mean like people that live and breathe and everything is like in characters, and they refer to her as Lady So and So, and I'm like, yeah, that was a train wreck. That was a train wreck. It sounds like it's not hanging up. All right, let's do this then. Let's not put the Vallejo primer back in. It didn't work great. I'm not a fan of it anymore. Let's put this one shot in, and I'm going to put the primer in first. I normally don't like to do that, but that way I can control how much of this is before we get a goopy part. Okay, we have about that much real primer, and that's all good. I'm looking at it. Now we'll add this. And if I make it too thin, it should work better. I mean, I don't want to make it too thin, but... All right, here goes. Get my little card. Working right off the bat. Let's put the back for protection. Not for me, but for the airbrush. Hey, you hear that? It's already, yeah. And I'm slinging this shit everywhere. It's too full. And the top that I have doesn't work on it. For whatever reason, it stopped working. It's watered down black, so it's not that big of a deal. Hand sanitizer will take that off. We need to make sure we don't shake this too much, though. All the issues that you don't have hand painting. So I always get a chuckle when you see somebody, they'll put something online. I do all my painting with an airbrush, and I don't know how to use. Don't know how to get a really good finish with a hand painting. I'm like, Jesus, man, you got it backwards. Well, I've got decades of experience hand painting, and only a few years airbrushing. About 18. Like I say with airbrushing, don't make any plans. You don't know how long it's going to take. Oh, this will just take 30 minutes. You're going to be disappointed. And that's not with a siphon airbrush. You get a siphon airbrush, that's a recipe to hate life. I had one. I'm like, man, I absolutely hated that hobby. Siphon airbrush, that's a whole other level of stuff that's going on. Good, we finally moved on from that. I don't know if I asked you this before. Have you watched Joe Coy before? Joe Coy does this stand-up of where he talks about the different Asian accents. It's absolutely hilarious. You should make your girlfriend watch that if she hasn't seen it. If you guys haven't seen it already. He's really, really funny. It's funny, I was noticing the other day, he has these mannerisms that remind me of Howie Mandel. Back when Howie used to do stand-up. You know, he reminds me of him a lot. All right, where are we at? Got a couple of these little stands. Yeah, it's too much thinner in it. Not too big of his. I think I get enough. You get enough Filipino humor. You don't need any more. I don't know why I'm making such a fucking mess. I'm not naturally a messy fucking person. Okay. There's a tester. Like, why are you dripping, dude? Like, all right. I'm not having a good airbrush day. Something had to go wrong today. Odds are it was going to be the airbrush. I'm not going to clean this whole thing out. But I am going to go back in here. Not doing a good job of selling airbrushes. Oh well. It's just wanting to be a problem. It's working great when it works. It's just jamming. You be jamming, man. I won't be airbrushing the brown. We'll hand paint it. This is like want to do this so I can do the green camouflage on the Hayabusa. What we got left? We got one stand left, and we got 4 crossbar pieces. Right? Well, now are we out? Now we may be out. Yeah. Maybe it was squirting, hitting the side, dribbling down the side and the back. That's how I should run all the time. I don't understand what the issue is. All right. That one worked really well. Inside of this. Inside this side. Fuck it, I'll clean the floor out when I'm done. Interruptions are my cancer. I can't stand being interrupted. As I'm getting older, it's worse. I've actually stopped like wanting to do things for fear of being interrupted. Like, oh, I'm probably going to get interrupted in the middle of this. Let's just wait. I don't want to spend something that takes 10 minutes to get back on track. Too frustrating. Well, that one worked well. Fine, I won't clean the floor. I want to track this into the house. I'm real careful about not tracking stuff in the house. We don't wear shoes in the house. Your girlfriend make you not wear shoes in the house? It's a good idea. It's a good idea to have all that stuff. Like your house gets dirty enough from dust. Doesn't need any help from your shoes, you know? I don't know if that's a universal Asian thing or it's just China or Japan, but we used to go walk and there'd be people that they'd leave their shoes outside. Which I don't want to wear shoes. I don't want to wear shoes in the house, but I don't want to leave them outside where, you know, everybody else goes, you know, all kinds of animals be like, hey, what's going on? Step on some animal or something. Cucaracha, you know, that kind of stuff. Cucaracha. see paint here. Okay, that's the last of them. So you just have to take these that are painted only on one side and flip their happy ass over. And then we're done. Then we can go mess with the green camouflage. Maybe I had the needle too far in. Maybe. Maybe. There's not a whole lot of margin of error on these things. They're normally pulling back this thing. If you pull it back too far, too much paint comes out. If you don't pull it back enough, no paint comes out. And the margin of error between too much and not enough is minuscule. You got to have some pretty fine motor skills to pull that off successfully. So one thing, it'd be, normally right now it's not behaving, but if you've got like regular paint and you go more than just a little bit, it's too far. You know, it's like very little margin of error. Still pretty wet. It's done. Yeah, like nothing too much. It's like holding out. It just doesn't, I don't think it likes this primer. Now, there's a couple of Japanese paint schemes on the aircraft that involve like hand painting, and they kind of look like a melted asshole. Not a fan of those. I generally don't like painting in a way that, even though it's realistic, everybody that comes up to you is going to ask you, well, why does this look so shitty? And then you have to respond with, well, that's how they painted it. I said, well, I'll just prefer to not paint those paint schemes that involve a shitty looking paint scheme. It's working better now, but if you hand paint this all weekend, that'd be all weekend. All weekend would be just trying to prime this black. With all the nooks and crannies that this thing has, prime it black or any other color. let's go ahead and open this up and drop them here because these guys are going to go. These guys are going to go inside. We get the lid to behave. All right. Give these a once over. So for the green, we're actually going to switch to the other. I'm doing this until I run out of this primer. We're going to switch to the other needle. And like I said, I hope I don't screw it up because I just create a bunch of work for myself. Having to fix it and everything. It's better to do things right the first time. And be like, hey, I fix any mistakes I make. How about don't make them to begin with? Wish I knew what to do it right the first time once. Wow. You're probably really good at writing, and I probably suck at that. My wife's a big fan of that Chat GPT. I wish I had that because I don't think that I'm a bad writer. I don't enjoy it. I don't think I'm a bad writer, but I just get writer's block. Like I don't know where to start and stuff like that. And like, I'm really bad about like things that are what I would consider busy work, and they're probably not. Like I wouldn't want to do like a rough draft, and you kind of have to because otherwise you're going to go and the thing I dislike the most about writing is because I'm just old enough that I didn't take typing in high school or anything like that. So I don't hunt for the keys, but I can't take my eyes off the keyboard. So I feel like when I'm done writing everything down, I have to do a lot of proofreading. So, it's like almost like grading my paper all the time. It's just a pain in the ass. And I still type faster than I write, but I don't have any frustration when I write. So, I guess I probably should take a class on it or something like that and get better at it. I'm not terrible, but I really dislike typing things and then finding out I wrote something wrong and I have to go back to correct it. I feel like I'm being punished for my own incompetence, and I kind of am. And I'm a bit of a spelling Nazi, so when I do dyslexic typing, which I do a lot, all the letters are there, they're just in the wrong order. Or I type yes, right? Respond yes, and both the Y and the E are both capitalized. I have to go back and take and decapitalize the E. Just annoying shit like that that just like make it stop. Okay. We are done with this bastard. With this bastard color. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get the AK ammo and see if the greens in the Japanese tank I'm happy with. Actually, no. We're not going to do that. Well, I can't do the other thing because then I got to use my phone to do it. And we're filming on it. Not everybody can be good at everything. But you do need to be good at something, or, you know. This extra. I must have been pouring it too close to the other edge, and it was dribbling off the back side. Back dribble. And my wife is really good at things that I suck at. And I'm really good at things that she sucks at. So, that's a good team. So she's really good at, like, you know, calling customer service and getting things. I'm not. I'm like, since I work in, well, everybody works in customer service. You know, if I don't get half the customer service that I provide, I'm pissed. And I'm like ready to like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And she can handle making those calls. So I don't do that stuff like that. You know, just like she just, if we go somewhere, she just plugs it in Waze and just, she'll drive off. She'll even say she'll drive off the map. She'll drop off the end of the world because it told her. And I'm like, nope, that's what I do. I'm the direction god. And I was good at it before all this GPS stuff and everything. That's my superpower. I'm better at that than anything. But I think it's really important. I think it's really cool. You're generally not good at something that you don't think that's really important. Because you're not going to put the effort into learning it. All right, I'm going to lose this glove. I think the glove is just creating more issues than it solves. It's mainly just to keep this black from going every which way. Let's make sure all of this is squeaky clean, because what we're going to do next is precision. Precision's important. I don't need to get the exact perfect green. I think I can wing it. But it is not a very olive drab green, if I remember. It's kind of a. Oh, this has got some. This has got some stuff here. Yeah, the hand sanitizer basically like almost like melts the paint. Is the best way to describe it. So it's not like, well, you loosen it up and you got to get the residue out. It's like, nope, this just like literally eats it. Que horas? 2:02. Oh, I thought we were going to leave it 2. Oops. we leave this thing. Let's get the super readers on. The plus 375s. Looks really clean from the inside. Okay. So it's going to be that one. And this needle. Don't be falling down. See, that's the kind of shit that happens all the time now that didn't used to happen to me. Just fumbly shit. Don't be a fumble fuck, as I call it. That's what I call it. All right. Don't be a fumble fuck. Is this plugged in? No, good. Shouldn't be. All right. Let's take a look at this. I don't know what setting this is set to, but I guarantee this is too much pressure. We want to get this probably around 15. Right, let's drop this thing in here. You know, really? Why would you catch underneath that? Where's my, flow aid on the needle? I've never done that before, but I remember people that do that. All right, we're going to have unprotected painting now. What kind of a... Just got to be careful. We got that needle visible there. All right, we got the pressure that we need. Make sure it works well with the cleaner. If it doesn't blow the cleaner out, it's not going to blow the paint out, because this is going to be a lot thinner than... Run this thing through it. We're going to use so little paint. And on the paint, this guy recommends like a 50-50 mix. That's what we're going to do. Put this away. All right, what do we got here out here in the green department? I'll be right back. All right, we did a quick search here, and in a quick search, I couldn't find out quickly which color to use, so I'm going to wing it. I want it to have a little bit of a green to it, not be too olive drab. I'm gonna have lunch. Okay then. So if I don't like how this turns out, it's gonna be real easy to fix. Now, I'm actually gonna break the rule that I said that I was gonna go ahead and seal this, but you know, we gotta get going and leave, and I wanna let this set, so we'll see if I regret this by rushing the process, but this is easy to fix if I'm not happy with the results. Let's put the super readers on. And we're going to use so little paint on this, it's not even going to be funny. I see a little bit of a residue here. All right. Looks clean. All right, we're going to put a little bit, this is like a 50-50 mix. We're going to use this. And the color we're using is military green from Vallejo. It's green, it's got a little bit of brightness to it. It's a nice color. It's not very olive drab. I'm going to test it here. It's probably going to be super thick. Looks good there. Put it on its side. Looks good from here. Now, I'm going to try to do it lightly. Let's not use this until the end. Trying to get really close to it. This thing is really slick, like grabbing it. the paint is actually behaving really well, like the flow of it, considering the primer works so damn poorly. This is actually working really well. I mean, this paint is really, really thin, so if I'm not happy with how this turns out, this is real simple to erase. I like when I airbrush things. People go, man, you did a really good job. I say, you don't have a flick. Man, you're really good at airbrushing. I'm like, you don't have a clue, man. I'm really good at hand painting. I'm a master at hand painting. Airbrushing, I get by. I get by. You know, with hand painting, I'm like, oh, I can do that. With airbrush painting is, I'll try not to fuck that up. it's just different. It's a different animal. definitely jamming. It'll go, and then it'll. Yeah, and then it'll like go when you don't want it to go. Just speeding that up with hand sanitizer. But like I said, I'd like to do this right the first time. There we go. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Let's put one more. Have to clean that one up. Always the last one. All right, now we have to just forget that these gold rims are on there, okay? Because that's going to really throw the look of this off. And the other thing is that it's shiny, so that's throwing that off as well. So I think it's going to look okay once we do something like paint the nose red or something like that that gives another kind of look to it. But that's definitely the right color green I was looking for. All right, let's clean this out, and then that's gonna call it for this session. All right, thanks for guys for stopping over. Love your DBA vids. Just spitting the bullet. 3 Greek armies from Essex Miniatures now arrive. Athens, Sparta, and Thebes about to fight their grudges. Had a lot of fun with DBA, but those days are over. And I got nothing against the game. I guess I got nothing against, that's just what I did exclusively for 18 years. And, it got really frustrating playing it over almost 3,000 times and still getting shit wrong. The game is great. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy watching our videos. We did. It's just time to make more videos, and I'm not going to do DBA anymore. I mean, I've got over 200 videos of DBA stuff on there, and, it ran its course. I've described many times on my live feeds why I don't do videos anymore. It's got nothing against the game or the author, and I hope you continue enjoying it. I enjoyed it for a long time. I learned a lot of military history while playing it. Good times. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.